Hello, welcome to yet another episode of Intermittent Fasting. My name is Sarah and this is just being Sarah. Today, we're going to discuss about the challenges of intermittent fast. One of the challenges that I experienced during my journey of intermittent fasting was hunger and cravings. Actually, it was difficult for me sometimes to contain myself, not to taste food, and also, I used to constantly eat. Now I'm in a situation whereby I'm no longer going to eat up until some curated time for me. So food is around me, and you see when your brain senses that there's food around, it sends a signal to your tummy, and you start feeling hungry. So there's a way you feel when you've not eaten. I know you guys, you understand. Wakati uko na njaa, uko tu na hasira, you're angry, you're agitated, you're moody. So that is some of the challenges that I experienced. Also cravings. You see, I was coming from a point of eating a whole loaf of bread, just like I told you from the last episode, and now here I'm supposed to be careful with what I'm feeding my body. So the cravings used to come. One thing I didn't do is I used to eat. Reason being is if I didn't satisfy that cravings, they will still come back. So what I told myself is that let me just eat this up until nichoke tunayo, like ilifika mali and I could no longer eat bread because I had enough of it. So that is one thing that helped me. Hunger, not anger. Hunger. Njaa. Hey, my friend. Sometimes you could sleep, you could eat and sleep, and then you're constantly thinking about ile food uliacha. You're still fasting and you're preparing food. So sometimes you prepare food and you don't have to eat up until that time that you're supposed to break your fast. So your mind is constantly thinking about that food. Now when you start feeling now hungry, you just want to eat. But one thing that helped me is I used to have my black coffee, sugarless black coffee, the one that I'm still taking in this video. So each time I used to feel hungry, I could rush and fix myself a cup of sugarless black coffee. Some people use water, it works, but for me, sugarless black coffee worked for me, and I could satisfy those craving hunger pangs. Yes. Another thing was lack of enough sleep. Sometimes when you've not eaten enough, you lack sleep. I've seen so many memes doing rounds on social media by you've had 2 cucumbers because you want to lose weight, but once you get to bed, the hunger now strikes. So you don't even have enough sleep. You're constantly thinking, I can't wait for morning so that I can have my food. So those are some of the challenges that I experienced. Also, some people experience constipation. So this is what I used to do to avoid constipation, is that I used to make sure that when I'm eating my food, during that window period of eating, I'm having food rich in fiber, high in fiber, yes, and I'm feeding enough. I'm eating nutrient-dense foods. Now that means you're going to eat proper meals. You're not going to have highly processed foods, because some of these processed foods don't have nutrients. They're just there to satisfy your hunger, but the nutrition, from the nutritional point of view, some of them don't satisfy that. So I used to ensure that I have eaten food dense in nutrients and also food dense in fiber. Yes, that is how I avoided constipation. Also headaches. You see, your body was not used to this situation whereby you're not constantly feeding it. And now you're here telling your body that from today, going forward, you're going to have only 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day. what happens is that you confuse your system. So sometimes I could experience headaches, but I knew that this was because I've changed my program from the normal programming. Now we were getting into a place whereby we were not going to constantly eat. So I knew that it was my body trying to readjust. So I used to constantly hydrate, drink water, and distract myself. And also, another thing is that sometimes when you're fasting, you're constantly thinking about food. Like, you just can't wait for you to eat. Sometimes you check your timer and you realize that you have like 6 hours to go and you become frustrated. So what I used to do is that I used to distract myself. I used to get busy. So in that, when you get busy, you're not constantly thinking about itafika saa ngapi 7 so that I break my fast. So become busy so that you buy time. By the time you're done with your schedules, your businesses, it's now time for you to eat. Sometimes even you could go past the time that you were supposed to break the fast, because sometimes when you become busy, you don't even think about food. You don't even feel hungry. That is one thing I realized, and it has worked magic in this journey. Just get distracted. And I started fasting during the COVID period, so just staying in the house, it was one of the challenging things. It was a challenge because food is there. Sometimes you just the environment itself was not conducive for me to fast. But I used to tell myself, my friend, this weight must come off from my body, because let me tell you, another thing that I didn't tell you that pushed me to lose weight is that I used to snore. I used to snore up until I used to wake my own child. You see, we've put our son to sleep, but the moment I go to bed, I used to snore to a point of waking up my own child that I struggled to put to bed to sleep. Can you imagine? I started snoring from nowhere. Another challenge was that my lower back was hurting. If I decided to sit down, standing up was a challenge. Okay, even sitting down on a chair was a challenge because my lower back used to hurt. I was carrying a lot of weight. Hapo ndo nilijiambia, my friend, things are getting worse. I'm only 22 years. This is my first child. I can't even take good care of myself because of this situation. Can I just do something with my own life? That is when I decided, my friend, let me try intermittent fasting. And it's challenging the first day. Even sometimes you lose hope. But one thing that helped me was consistency. Knowing that it takes a step, 2 steps, 3 steps to get to your destiny. That is what kept me in this journey, and it has kept me in this journey up to now. Yeah, so those are the challenges. And also, remember, I was breastfeeding still. As much as my son was eating, I was also breastfeeding. So sometimes, mtoto anaweza kunyonya, alafu you feel dizzy. But one thing I used to ensure is that I'm eating enough food. I didn't limit the amount of food I was eating. When it is my time to eat, I eat until I'm satisfied. Yeah, make sure that you eat up until you're satisfied, so that you're full enough to last you longer for those fasting hours. So make sure you're eating enough. Eat up until you're full and stop. That is what has kept me going up until this point. This comes to the end of this episode, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, and don't forget to leave a comment below and like this video. Bye bye.